but I honor God with with my response. I honor God with my approach. Then I have a leg up to when I go to God in prayer, he will answer me because I have already honored him. But a lot of times we want to fly off at the handle. We want to go off. We want to do whatever we want to do. Then we want to go to God and he's like, what? What? I was there. I saw it. Like I was there. Like, and he's not coming to me like ain't nothing happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if I honor God, even with my communication, then when I go to God, then he is willing and able to perfect those things that matter to me, to work on the matters of my heart, to deal with it. And see, this is the thing, right? I've gotten to the place where I realize that because a lot of times we go to God and we pray about
Chris,
the
so
other
that's
person.
it. Yeah, you know his cash app.
So,
all right.
So I've gotten to that place of maturation where I stopped going to God praying about other people, right? Well, in relationship, what a lot of people do is we go and we pray about them. God, do this in them. God, fix them. God, fix her. God, fix him. God, touch his heart. God, touch his mind. No. I stopped going to God praying about them and for me, and I switched it. Because we go to God and we be like, God, do this in them, change them, fix them, and bless me. God, give me the strength, give me the grace, No, I flipped it. Now I go to God and I pray about me and for her. Right? So I go to God and say, God, fix me. Like, take the stuff out of me that ain't no good. Like deal with this mind of mine. Like, deal with my stubborn attitude. Like, deal with the times when I'm frustrated and I don't know how to express how I'm feeling in the moment. Like take these issues out of me, the stuff in my past that tries to rear its ugly head. Like, create in me a clean heart. I go to God that way. And then when I pray for her, I'm saying, God bless her. God cover her. God watch over her. God make sure that you order her steps, order her stops. God, give her peace, give her understanding, give her wisdom, give her knowledge. And I noticed that God responds in such a greater way because I'm not trying to sick God. Because this is the thing, we try to sick God on people. We go to God and be like, God, get him. Get him, God, get him. And he's sitting there like, you just don't get it. Because if you let me get you and work out what's in you, then the change that happens inside of you will affect them. That was good.
That was, babe.
Like all this, like this ain't like this is raw. This is God talking around. I ain't had no notes. We ain't prepared.
This was
so communication, right?
Right.
We still got two other C's. Okay. We got two others. Listen, okay. So to effectively communicate, right? I feel like never raise your voice. Always fight fair. Right?
Fight fair.
Quit hitting low blows in arguments.
And bringing up past issues.
Because you can't take back words. I don't care how much time has passed. I guarantee you, for some of y'all who've been on here, been married for 30 years, can remember what somebody said back in 1983. You can recall in this very moment, if you close your eyes, you can literally see what he had on, what she was wearing, where y'all was at, what time it was, if it was raining, if it was snowing, if it was hot outside. You can remember because you can't take that stuff back.
Yeah.
You can't.
That's true, though.
So fight fair. Like, never raise your voice, fight fair, and keep the main thing, right? And that's effective communication. If you can do that, then you can shift it from a me perspective to a we perspective. Next C.
Consistency.
Talk about it.
I wanted you to talk about it.
Okay. Consistency, right? Now, this, for me, this is a mantra that I try to build my life on, right? Because I believe that the key to effective living, effective relationship, the key to happiness is consistency. But what happens is we present these representatives in the beginning part of relationship. Let me tell you one of the things that I absolutely love about her, right?
Oh,
the
gosh.
first official date that we went on, right? We went to look at bullshit. I'm gonna come on TDS. You foolish.
Before you
foolish. You petty for that. So one of the craziest and things that I love the most is because we went on our first date and we went to Juicy Crab, right?
Y'all know how I am about Juicy Crab.
Everybody on this timeline, you should know about Juicy Crab.
Y'all know.
She's addicted, right? So
Period.
we went to Juicy Crab, and it wasn't. If you ever eaten crab legs, it's not a dainty act. Like, you can't sit and be dignified eating crab legs, right? No. And we went, and she started snapping crab
Well, here's the
legs.
thing. Here's the thing.
She started throwing juice.
Wait.
She was licking them.
Wait. So I told him
right
that I did not want to go. I said, you can take me anywhere you want to take me on our first date. Technically, it was our second date. It was our first date, but our second date, whatever.
Right.
So I was like, but just no crab legs, because there's nothing ladylike about me when eating crab legs. Like, that's my thing, and I don't have I don't have conversation when I'm eating crab legs. So I told him this up front. He was like, yeah, no,
let's do that.
He's like, let's do that. He was like, I want to see you in your environment. I want to see you just
element.
how you are.
Yeah.
I don't want to see you sitting pretty.
I don't want to see no fake stuff.
I want to see you just
ordering
like
no
that.
salad. No, let's get in here. Let's crack some crab legs.
He wanted to see the real me, not that you eat. I was planning on doing like, we gonna go somewhere else, and I could get like a nice salad or whatever.
Right. But the fact that she was so real and authentic, like, and I could see, because we're so big on trying to present a specific part of ourselves.
Oh, that's good.
Like, so being able to see the real, true, authentic, like, yo, she a real one, Like, I love it, because versatility is huge for me. Like, I need you to be able to go from the White House to the block all in the same week. I need you to be able to flow with me in any arena. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because there ain't no telling where we're going to end up. So to see the authentic part of her, I loved it so much. And what happens is, being able to see who she really was, it gave us a foundation of realness that kept us at a level where we could be consistent. Right? Yeah. You can only be fake for so long.
Say that again.
Like, you can, like, for real, that you can only be fake for so long. You can only keep up a facade for so long. So if you start off like, and this is where effective communication comes into play. Like, for instance, guys, like, if you are not chivalrous, right? If that's not who you are, first off, like, send me a message. Let me walk with you. Let me show you the way, because you should be. Like for real. Like, and I'm not just talking about, and women, let me put you up on game, right? If a man opens the door for you, but lets the door close on the woman coming behind you, that's it. He's being fake. He's doing this. He's putting on for you. It's not gentleman. A gentleman is a gentleman consistently. Like, a gentleman is, like, if I open the door for her and there's 6 women coming behind her, she knows to step in and step to the side and wait, because I'm going to hold the door for all these 6 women. Because I hold the door for women. Like, that's not me trying to put on for her. This is who I am, right? So when you start off with finding who a person really is, it gives you basis on what to be consistent with. Because now I know what I'm getting into. Because now we can get through all the formalities of what you're trying to do and being able to get to the place where, is that Broderick? What up, bro? Being able to the place to where I can be consistent, because this is really who I am, right? And relationships are work.
Yeah.
They're work.
It is.
Right? It's literally like getting up and going to your job every day. How long would you be on your job if you got up every day, went into the office, sat down at your desk, and did nothing?
Teach it, baby.
You just sat there.
Teach.
You just said, listen, I'm here. Y'all should be happy. Oh, we should be happy. Okay.
That's good.
Listen, take this box, right? Put your stuff in this box, right? And take your happy-go-lucky self and go and find another job, right? Because it's work. You're supposed to come here and be productive.
That's good.
In relationship, I'm supposed to show up every day and be productive. There should be something that I'm doing in relationship. There should be something that I'm working in. There should be effort that I'm putting forth every day. If I'm just coming in and doing the bare minimum, like there's never any promotion, there's never any growth, there's never any elevation. You got to be consistently willing to work.
That's both parties.
Yeah, both parties. If you're not consistently willing to put in work, don't get in relationship.
And one of the things that I love about Will is this. He does these periodic, I want to say... Checkups. He do them every, I want to say 2 to 3 weeks. We're riding in the car. He'd cut the music off. He's like, okay, so let's talk. Let's talk.
Where are we?
Where are we? What's going on? How you feel? How you feel about us? Like, let's do an evaluation. Like, how you feel about where we are? You know, what could I do better? You know, what can you do better? Like, and I'll tell him the areas, if any, that I feel like he can do better on. And he'll say the same thing about me, and we won't take it personal. We'll look at it as, this is some good feedback.
Yeah.
Maybe I was slipping. Maybe I was on my phone too much this month. Like, maybe I didn't realize that I had my phone in my hand so much that it bothered you. Or that's something that it was a point where you wanted to communicate with me, but you didn't know how to communicate because I had my attention somewhere else. And so that's something I would take, and I won't take it personal. And I'll say, you know what? I'm going to be intentional. I'm going to be very, very intentional about not picking up my phone. When I'm in the car, I'm just going to keep it in my purse. You know what I'm saying? Or I'll be very intentional to show him, listen, I heard what you said. I don't want you to think that what you're saying is going in one ear and not the other, because I value you and I value us. And I see you putting in work, and I want to put in some work too. So I want you to see that when you said this bothered you, then I'm going to correct that this month. Not because you ain't the boss of me and you can't tell me what to do. You ain't my daddy. And I could go that route, and then our relationship go completely left. But it could go totally left field. And so
if you let it.
Yeah.
Now let me jump in on here too, right? If you say something to the person that you're with, and they actually make adjustments, take time to celebrate that.
That's good.
Right? Like, once you see certain things, take time and stop and say, you know what? This week, I saw you really put forth an effort to put your phone down.
That's really good.
I really want to say thank you. Thank you for that. Right?
Let me tell you something. That has helped our relationship so much, because it's one thing for you to say, hey, this bothered me, but the next minute to know that I made the change, and then you acknowledge the change that I made.
It only makes me want to make more changes.
It only makes me want to do better. Like, it only makes me want to be like, you know what?
I'm gonna
he
try harder.
Thought that was something.
Yeah, wait.
You just wait.
You just wait. Let me, you know what I'm saying? So it's at that place where you got to be willing to consistently appreciate one another, right?
Yeah.
Because appreciation goes a long way. Nobody wants to hear about just all the negative stuff they do. If every time we talk, you tell me what I'm doing wrong, I have no motivation to do anything right.
Exactly.
If every single time we talk, you telling me you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. Well, dang, what did I do anything? Then why are you with me then? You know, it takes that motivation, and that's even on your job. If your boss comes by and your boss stops by your desk and said, "Listen, I just want to tell you, you're doing a great job. Thank you so much for your effort. I saw you come in 15 minutes early every day this week. Thank you. I just want to tell you that I'm grateful for you." What does that make you do? It makes you want to work harder, right?
Yep.
And that's how it is in relationship. If you are consistent in your work, if you are consistent in your appreciation, and you are consistent in your effort, like it's because this is the thing. Work and effort are synonymous, but at the same time, they're a little different. And I'll tell you why. Work are the things that I do in regards to responsibility, right? Work are the things that I'm supposed to do. That's the stuff that I'm consistently doing as a man in relationship with you. It's the stuff that I'm consistently supposed to do. These are my responsibilities, and I wake up every day and I take my responsibilities to the max to make sure that I'm working effectively. Effort is the extra stuff. Effort is the going beyond. Effort is the going above and beyond the call of duty. It's the buying the flowers just because it's Tuesday. It's the leaving the sweet notes. It's doing a video of a montage of the pictures that you've taken over the past 2 months, and it's doing the extra stuff. It's a surprise date night on a Tuesday. It's the extra stuff. That's effort and work are just they're a tad bit different. So if you're consistent in your work, consistent in your effort, and consistent in your appreciation, like if you just stop and just take the rest of this week, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you take 5 days and just be intentional on appreciating the person that you're with, just for 5 days. It ain't got to be all day. It could be first thing in the morning.
Let me tell you guys, a note will go a long way, or something out of your norm. I miss you text. I'm just grateful for you. A simple prayer. This man covers me and prays for me throughout the day, consistently, all the time. I get flowers just because he does stuff, and it's not, oh, I expect this. No, it's the simple fact that you are doing the same thing that you was doing when you got me. That means you didn't get comfortable. That means you didn't take for granted that I'm here. He reminds me on a consistent basis. I don't take you for granted. I don't take you being a part of my life. Like, he's very, very intentional about that. And for me, that is gold, because now I have to honor. I'm going to make sure I honor you. I'm going to make sure I keep you and I protect you. And not only are you going to work and you busting your butt, but I'm going to be praying and covering over you. I'm covering you consistently, because I know as the head and as the leader, you are going to be getting attacked from left and right and all over. So it's my duty to make sure I cover you and that I go before God consistently. I can't be praying for the world and going hard for the world and not going hard for him, because he's going hard for me. You know what I'm saying? He's the one that's going to make sure everything is straight as it relates to me. And if nobody ain't got me, I know, let me tell you, I know my brothers got me and my man got me. Period.
Facts.
If I don't know no other man that's going to be consistent in my life,
Facts.
I know he's going to be consistent and my brothers are going to be consistent.
And see, this is the thing. This is how you, this is how what motivates you to be consistent. If you have the mentality that every day I could lose her, it makes you work hard. Like, if I'm thinking every day, like even if I'm married, that today I could lose her, like if that's important to me, like if I could lose you today, it's gonna make me put forth effort to make sure that I don't. But if I'm cool on the fact that we together and I know we good and ain't no problems, ain't no issues, and she ain't going nowhere, then I start having the she ain't going nowhere effort.
That's good.
But if I'm thinking every day, like she may, you know, it's because this is the thing. It's a whole bunch of other guys out here that want her.
I only want you though.
I only want you to.
Okay.
But it's a whole lot of guys that's out here wanting, and they sitting back licking their chops, just waiting on the opportunity. Soon as they see a crack in the door, they just sitting there, they waiting like, ooh. It's almost like double dutch. They keep rocking. They just waiting to jump in the game. They just wait. So if every day I wake up like, yo, I gotta defend what's mine. Like I gotta, because she could leave, I could lose her, somebody else could come. It changes your effort, because now I'm gonna make sure that I'm doing my part to make sure that she has no reason to look elsewhere, that she has no reason to think about life without me. Like I'm going to put forth max effort because I'm not comfortable in her presence. Even though I know we're going to be together forever.
Forever.
I'm not comfortable in forever.
Ooh!
Because
That's good.
This is facts. Today, right now, is really the only thing I have promised. This moment is the only thing that I really, truly have. Tomorrow is not promised for me. So I'm not comfortable with the fact that I'm sitting here with you tonight, because I may not wake up tomorrow. So if I approached everything, oh come on now, we waking up. I'm waking up tomorrow. So
please.
if I approach the relationship and my perspective changes with not only that I may lose you to somebody else, I may lose you because I don't know what tomorrow holds. So I'm going to max out effort today. So just in case God come get me tonight, I have given everything that I have today. So consistently, I'm putting forth effort every day because I don't know. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to who were heartbroken because they got into an argument and that was the last thing that their lover heard. Man, they left out the house and got into a car accident and they died. And the last thing they heard was, I hate you. Or the last thing they heard was, I can't stand you. Or the last thing they heard was, you get on my nerves. Those are the last words that were said. I don't know. I don't have that luxury to bank on tomorrow.
Right.
I don't have that luxury.
Right.
Because I don't know.
Right.
So I max out consistent with my effort because I don't know what tomorrow holds.
Yeah, and one thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not going to sit here and I know he's a great guy, right? But I would never take for granted that I have a great man because I've experienced I've seen a lot of stuff, right? But I've never ever truly had to witness firsthand what a real man is. So I won't take for granted that I have a good man. I ain't gonna take advantage of the fact that this man really loves me. He's really invested. He really cares about me. So I could just do whatever I want to do because he ain't going nowhere. I don't ever take that approach. My approach is let me make sure I honor and value you. Let me show you, because I refuse to let another chick show you your worth, your value. No. I'm going to speak to that king in you, not her, not nobody else. I'm speaking to that king. Because I see it. I know the potential. I'm praying. I'm the one that's watching you go through the process. I'm not going to let nobody else speak to the king in you. It's going to be me talking to the king, period.
And I'm not going to let nobody else reap the benefits of the process.
Hey!
Listen, I always want to define my wife in the trenches, right? Because, no, for real. Because I never wanted to reach the pinnacle of success and always have to wonder why you here.
That's good.
I never wanted to find somebody when I made it, because then I would always be thinking, are you really here for me? But the true test of relationship is in the valley.
Listen.
It's in those low moments.
When you struggling
and you have nothing but each other to lean on.
Like for real.
Like that pressure in a sense can crush relationships.
No, for real.
For real. But that's where you find one another. That's when you get to the place where you're able to lean on one another. And then I could see and I can
Well, come on, tell me.
He being foolish tonight.
Take me to the king.
He being foolish tonight. So, but that's when I can really stop and take a look and see, dang, you really got my back. Because at my lowest point.
Let me tell y'all. Here we go. When I lost my job, I was at my lowest point. Like, I was at my absolute lowest. He saw how much I disliked my job, but I still went. I worked long hours, brought work home. I was working my butt off, investing, but I was so unhappy. And he's like, listen, you ain't got to stay there. Listen, you need to go ahead and do what God calls you to do. He pushed me and he helped push me into purpose. Because when I was let go from my job, I didn't know what I was depressed. I was literally battling depression. And I'm the one that's in church. I'm the one that knows God. And I'm the one that's standing for my family. And I'm the one that people look to when they're going through. But here it is. I'm going through a storm that I can't even identify who I really am at this moment. Because everything I knew was just stripped from me. But this man is the one that, excuse me, spoke to that broken me. And at the same time, he pushed and encouraged me. But I was at my lowest. And I'm sitting here like, I'm in a whole relationship. Like, God, you wait till I'm in a relationship to allow me to go from having whatever I wanted, whatever I needed, to not having nothing at all? Like, what? How do you do that? Like, he gonna think that I'm a lazy chick, or he gonna think less of me because I done got fired from my job and all this type of stuff. And when I tell you, he covered me. And the days I didn't feel like praying for myself, the days I didn't feel like getting up, the days I was feeling bad about myself, he was like, you know what? No. What you tripping about a job for? This is the time that you want to write that book, right? You want to start that business? Go ahead and start doing that. And he was the one that motivated me and pushed me. These prayers, start praying boxes, because he pushed me. It's because he pushed me, but he didn't think any less of me because I was in a struggling state. No, he just came alongside of me and he helped walk me through that process. And still, listen, I'm grateful that I know him now before the glow up, the real glow up, okay? Because, like he said, we'll be questioning like, wait, are you just with me because of what I got? Or because of who I'm connected to? Or because of what? No, we in this thing together. Before all the fame, before all of whatever, before all that, we in this thing while we struggling, honey.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
And that's when you can really show the true essence of consistency, is when you don't have it. It's when you're at your lowest, when you broke.
Let me say this real quick to the ladies. So I know we are used to looking at the man and the man having everything, and it's easy to down a man when he's not at his best, right? Or it's easy to say, to hit him while he's down because he don't have what somebody else have. So it's easy to say, don't worry about it, I'll do it myself. Or, if you only work this, if you only had this amount, then I won't have to do that.
That's good.
And you have the ability to speak to the king in him. Ooh. Even though you don't see it or it looks impossible, it's up to you. You have that. You have the ability to speak to a certain part of him that everybody else can't see. And so I want us to be very cautious of how we treat our man when they're not at the top at the present moment. When things are not going good, when money's tight and you can't go out to eat all the time and you gotta go get some and make stuff at the crib, or you can't always go on date night, or you can't always go where everybody else is going. Everybody else going out to eat, everybody else going here. You may not be able to go right now because y'all got some other important stuff that y'all need to get. You don't make it, because he already feel less of a man because he can't do it.
Facts.
He already feel like, man, I let her down because I don't have this. And so you recognize that and you ask God for wisdom and give you clarity on how to approach that situation, because that's when you speak to him and say, you know what, your recommendation, say, babe, we don't need to go out tonight. Let us just stay in because you're going to make the situation better. And now you're going to take the weight off his shoulders because he's been carrying the weight. He's been carrying the weight all along. And so now this is your opportunity to take the weight off his shoulders, and you recommend staying at home. You see that he don't have it at the present moment, and you just speak to the king and let the king, get his pieces together. Because once you take care of the king while he down, he going to make sure you straight once he get it.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of us, we get so comfortable with wanting to look like you have everything together and you really don't. And then you're lacking. And then you end up having tension in a relationship. He mad because we going out and we ain't really got the money to be going out, but he just want to make you happy. And then you happy because you people pleasing, but really you're not happy because you're trying to figure out how the bill's going to get paid and stuff like that. So it's like, excuse me, you have to literally speak into you have to literally speak to your king, and you got to be able to recognize what's going on. You got to be able to recognize what he's not saying.
You're foolish. Because see, this is the thing. That's good. Because we're not going to say it.
You got to recognize the stuff that's not being said. Because
a man is going to internalize. Like, it's very few. Like, I think I've sort of gotten... I've sort of developed that knack to. I'm a communicator. Right? I want to talk. Like, because
he is.
I want to talk. Well, most men, they internalize. So what they do, they tuck it away. They put it in that secret place because we're supposed to be strong, right? The expectation of a man is you're supposed to be a symbol of strength. You're supposed to be a symbol of provision. You're supposed to be a symbol of protection and a symbol of security. You are supposed to be the person that everybody runs to. So if the person that everybody runs to doesn't have it, who does the person that everybody runs to run to?
Right.
So men internalize, they tuck it away, And then all they'll do is they'll beat themselves up and they'll continue to strive to be who they really want to be and who they really want to be for you. So it's about finding the ability to be a real partner, because the truth of a lot of relationships is that a lot of men and women, vice versa now, period. A lot of people are not in relationship with a partner. A lot of people are in relationship with a dependent.
Yeah! Say that again.
A lot of people are in relationship with people we should be writing off on our taxes, right? We should be adding deductions because all we doing is taking care of this person.
That's right, Shannon. Take your husband, girl.
All we doing is taking care of this person, or taking care of her, or taking care of him. And it has become, this is the difference, right? The difference, give you an analogy, between ATM relationships and actual bank relationships, right? Or financial center relationships. An ATM, you pull up to, the only thing you want to know is, do you got my money? I don't care how long you've been out here. I don't care how many updates you have missed. I don't care if you've been through a blizzard. I don't care how many people have used you. I don't care. The only thing I want to know is, do you have my money? And let you pull up to an ATM tomorrow and it says out of money. After you done sat in line, you will blow a gasket. Why? Because you are here to service me. And a lot of people approach relationships with the mindset that you are here to service me. And that's not even an effective relationship mindset, because effective relationship means I'm coming in with the mindset of, I am here to serve you.
That's good.
And the key is to find somebody who has that same mentality. Because if I'm always putting you first and you always putting me first, then we both always winning. But a lot of us have been in relationships where I'm always putting you first and you always putting you first. And then eventually I burn out. So you have those ATM relationships, and then you have the bank relationships where you find people who are willing to invest. When you go into a bank, the line may be long, but you're going to stay there. Why? Because you're here for a purpose. There may be one teller working. You may be here like, what? Y'all got 9 open registers. There's only one person back here. You may be complaining. You may be upset, but you still stand there because you're there for a purpose, and you don't leave until the purpose is fulfilled. That's how we got to approach relationship. Like, I may not understand. I may in my mind be like, why are you tripping? Why are you saying that? But I'm here for a purpose. Right? I'm here, and I can be consistent with my effort because I'm keeping my purpose the forefront of my mind, not my needs or not my wants. So, like, being able to speak to the king and in a man is just as important as a man being able to speak to the queen in a woman, because this is the truth, men. God is going to hold you accountable for the state of your relationship. That there's no way around it, right? God is going to come to you for what happened in your house. It don't matter if the kids is going wild, that your wife don't do. God is going to come to you and say, where were you and what did you do? So you got to have the mentality that, listen, as a king, I got to set the tone, and I got to be able to speak life even if I see death. You got to get to the place where you are able to speak to what you want to see, even if you don't see it. Like, you got to be able to speak to, because this is the thing, right? When you speak to the queen in her, it motivates her to be the queen that the king needs.
Teach you know what I'm saying? Babe. Teach that.
It's a give and take. If I'm able to impart into her life, then I am able to give her the strength that she needs to be the helpmeet that I'm gonna need.
Teach
right?
That, babe.
But if I'm only approaching her with my needs and my wants, or what she's not doing, and I'm not able to cultivate that queen in her, then when I look to her to be a helpmeet, I can't get mad with nobody but myself, because I haven't cultivated that queen on the inside of her. Because everybody in the kingdom, check this out, everybody in the kingdom is responsible. The king is responsible for everybody in the kingdom.
Teach it, babe.
He's responsible for them. So if you are joining in a relationship, I don't even care. You're not married. If you're gonna commit to somebody and say we walking together, you then put yourself in a place of responsibility. I'm responsible for everybody in my kingdom, right? So if my kingdom is out of whack, then I gotta look at how I'm kinging.
I'm kinging. How I'm
If my
kinging.
kingdom out of whack, I gotta look at how I'm kinging. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, babe. Here we go.
What's up?
What if I see the king in him, but he can't see it in himself?
Right. Okay. So if he can't see the king in him, then you have to be. Ooh, check this out. Right. I love this. Right. God sort of dropped this on me not too long ago. Check it. All right. We oftentimes we criminalize. Yes. We demonize Delilah in the Bible. Right. I don't know if you know the story, Samson and Delilah. Okay, so in the Bible, there's this guy named Samson. He was the strongest man alive. He killed thousands of people with the jawbone of an animal, and that's it. Like he had dumb, ridiculous strength, like for real. And so what happened is there was this chick named Delilah who was an agent for his enemy who was sent in to try to figure out where his strength lied, right? So Samson would come over, and she would rub his back, and she would kiss him, and she would, be a source of love and comfort, and she would get him all relaxed and all, whatever, and then ask him, Samson, where does your strength lie? And he would lie to her, and he would say, oh, well, if you wrap me in a specific type of rope, I won't have any strength. And then right after that, some soldiers would come in and try to do what she said, and he would break out and kill the soldiers and go about his business. But he would then come back, and they would do the cycle again, right? Why did he, I asked, I said, why did he keep coming back? Because she was consistent in speaking to the king, and she had her focus of what she wanted, and she was persistent in her pursuit, right? So it didn't matter that he broke out the last time or that he lied to her. She didn't take that personal because she had a mission, right? And so if your mission is to get him to recognize the king in him, you got to be consistent in your pursuit. You got to be that source of that he hears, that he keeps hearing it. Like, even if he's acting like a donkey, if he acting an idiot, you can't address that idiot, because whatever you address, you will give life to.
That's good. Say that again.
So you got to be consistent, like in addressing the king. When he acted stupid, you got to be able to say, listen, I know this is not you. Like, you are a great man. You're smart. You're
stroke
strong.
That ego,
you gotta
girl.
stroke that ego.
You
Because
stroke that ego.
If you stroke that ego, he'll then get to the place where he becomes vulnerable enough to start accepting what you're saying. And now he'll begin to open up, because what happened in the story is that Samson lied to her a few times and he kept coming back. But then there was one time where she must have put it on him. And she was like, Samson, where your strength lie? And he was like, girl, if you cut my hair, I promise you I'll lose all my strength. She cut his hair and he lost his strength. What? Because she was consistent in her pursuit, because she had a mission in mind. So she was consistent in speaking to what she wanted to see. And it's difficult, right? It's not always easy. When somebody's acting out, or when they're not doing what you need, or, and this is key. There are some times where God is allowing stuff to happen to get you out of a situation, right? Let's keep it 100, because you got to have wisdom and discernment, because there's some stuff that we don't even need to be connected to. So God loves you enough to not allow you to win with the wrong person. So he'll keep allowing stuff to happen till you wake up and be like,
that's good.
Because if Samson would have woke up, he probably wouldn't have been in the situation. If he would have realized, yo, this chick is out to get me. Why do I keep going back?
That's good.
Why? So you gotta be, you gotta be like, God, look, if this ain't for me, look, give me a way out. Like, I need to make it clear for me.
Give me discernment.
Let me know where I'm supposed to be and where I'm not supposed to be. Because if I ain't supposed to be here, I don't want to be here. But a lot of times
that boy's good.
we want to be here, and we're not supposed to be here. So then when stuff happens to keep showing us that we're not supposed to be here, we keep trying to fix our exit.
Yeah.
God has given us an exit saying, yo, I'm giving you a way out. And you keep trying to, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to make it happen. So you got to figure out if this is where you're supposed to be. And if it is where you're supposed to be, then you got to be consistent in your pursuit and keep the mission in mind. If you don't take nothing else, keep the main thing the main thing.
Yeah, that's true. And I know sometimes it may get frustrating when you see the potential that your boyfriend, your fiance, that your husband, whoever he is, or whatever the case may be, you see the potential, but it's hard for them to realize their value, to see how much they mean to you, because they've always, we don't really know what people go through, right? And we don't really truly know the past hurt that they've experienced. Like, he can tell me so much that he's been through, but I don't really know the pain he felt while going through it.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? So when you're speaking to the king in him, you know, he may not be able to grasp it because he may have been blinded by so much or hurt by so much that he's experienced in the past. So your consistency, like you said, is going to be key, and you're going to be able to start pulling back. It's like an onion, right? And you pull back a layer, and you constantly pulling back those layers by speaking to the king in him and reminding him of who he is, because he may feel less of a man. He may not feel like he got it all together, because here's the thing: we know ourselves better than anybody else knows us. We know our flaws, and sometimes we are our biggest critic, right? And we are worse. So we see stuff about ourselves, and we're hard on ourselves, and it's hard to receive when somebody else say, "Man, you great, you dope. Can't nobody do it like you." It's hard for you to believe it. Like, no, you just saying that. You just saying that. No. All my life I've been told I ain't. You know, my daddy said I ain't. My mama said I ain't. We don't know the back history behind the person. You know what I'm saying? They can only tell you so much, but they may be holding on to, they may have that greatness inside of them, but they don't know how to unravel it. They don't understand it, because for so long, all they had to do was protect them. They had to stay protected. And so you constantly speaking to him and investing in him and seeing beyond what it looks like right now would gradually open up, you know, his perspective on his own self.
Open up his perspective on his own self. That's good. You teach it.
You know what? Whatever.
You're so smart.
All right.
You're so fine. Like, I just had to stop and just let them know that I know that she's fine. Jesus.
Thank you.
So that's consistency, right? We're supposed to talk about a third C.
Yes.
But what we're gonna do is
questions?
We're gonna open up for some questions, then we're gonna pray, and then we're gonna leave that third C for the next video. So let's open up. If you got any questions?
Will this be a weekly chat?
What
y'all think?
Do y'all want it weekly? Because this is the thing, right? Whatever we're going to do, whatever decide how we're going to do it,
we're going to be consistent.
We want to be consistent, right? So we want to pick a day and a time and a moment where people can sort of plan for it, so forth and so on.
How can we sow into your ministry?
That's a good question. I guess we need to create something. We don't have anything.
We wasn't planning.
We wasn't planning to do it, and we definitely not in it, you know, to for money's sake. But
Cash App, PayPal.
Yeah, I guess we need to
DM us. I guess, or you could.
We need to create something.
We'll create something.
So
because we really, this was something that got a little late on our heart. We have this thing that we're coming up with, and based on you all, how often you think it should be will determine when we do it. But our vlog is called From Pieces to Peace.
Yeah.
And that's really us talking about how our lives I was in a broken state. I was broken. I've experienced so much, and not just talking about relationally broken, but I've broken losing loved ones, you know, trying to piece myself back together after experiencing loss after loss after loss after loss. And so I'm literally in a place where I was in a broken state and I was shattered. And if I can look at my life, it looked like myself shattered all over the floor. That's how I viewed myself and what I was going through. If I could just look at it from my lens, I would see my life shattered into pieces all over the place. And I think his life was pretty much the same, you know? His life was shattered. He was broken. He was dealing with divorce, you know, also losing loved ones, and, you know, also rejection, and from, you know, different places, from the church and things along those lines. So, you know, our stories is pretty much like our brokenness.
And we'll unpack like some of the stuff that we've been through. Because, you know, a lot of times people say, you know, oh, you know, I've been through some stuff. No, it's, you know,
we may be young. Don't get it twisted. We may be young, but we've experienced some life changing stuff. Just in a short period of time that we've been on this earth. So we understand what our purpose is, right? And a lot of people, like, you know, I post a lot on social media because I know my life is ministry. Yeah. My life is about helping other people and being very transparent, because I know everything I've been through is not about me. It's about somebody else. Yeah. And I know that. And so when we started dating, you know, he wasn't on social media. He was on social media, but it was strictly all motivation. You saw nothing of his private life, nothing along those lines. But it was, we decided that we knew our relationship wasn't about us. It was about bridging the gap between people, you know, and their lives and things along those lines. So let's see this question. So what if
you got questions, put them on screen.
Yeah, drop the questions. So what if, while they're hurting in their life situations, in defense, since they think you're doing better than you, they try to hurt you by saying hurtful words to make you feel weak, just like them?
You want to speak to it?
So for me, I would say this, right? If somebody, the question pretty much says, what if someone is pretty much broken and they're saying things that are hurtful to hurt you so they can hurt as well? Hurting people hurt people, right? And so for one, you have to understand who you are. So you can't allow what people say. I don't care if it's your man, your boyfriend, your husband, whoever it is. Nobody deserves to be treated or to be disrespected. Right. Whether it is, you know, no abuse is good abuse, period. So emotional abuse, those words have power, right? You have to know who you are. So you can't allow what people say or think to determine who you are. And as a woman, you really, really have to be on guard, because, you know, that's a huge attack of the enemy. Because we are big on words, right? But you also got to be able to see past what the situation is. You got to be able to see that, for me, in our relationship, this is what happens. When anytime I feel like something is off, I know that's the enemy. Yeah. And I call the enemy out on it. Yeah. I don't look at Will and say, oh, woo, 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 woo. No, I'm like, you know what? This ain't us. Yeah. This ain't your norm. Yeah. This ain't you. No. Okay, let's pray. And I'm going to call the enemy out. You will not have control over this relationship. Yeah. You know, and I'll ask God to give me wisdom on how to communicate effectively to him, and to still, even in his brokenness or even in my brokenness, so that I'll be able to receive from him. You know what I'm saying? To see how he really feels. But I don't think that you don't have to be a doormat in any situation. Now, there are times where you hit rough patches in relationship, and you have to sort of love people through some tough times and some stuff that's uncomfortable, right? But in doing so, you have to be able to understand that we wrestle not with flesh and blood. It's not a physical battle. So every time, you know what it's like? It's like every time you go off on whoever you're connected to in a relationship with, the devil sitting back and laughing, because you're talking to him, you're really talking to the wrong person. So you gotta be in a place where you're fighting the battle on the proper battlefield. It's like that's good. The proper battlefield, babe. That's good.
Whatever. So you try to fight it from a physical standpoint, but it's a spiritual battle. You know, because sometimes people lose jobs, or, stuff gets rough and people go through depression and they act out. And it's, and there are times where you got to love people through that. Number one, if you are making the decision to love someone through a tough time, you got to first not take it personal.
Yeah.
You gotta be
recognize what it is.
You gotta recognize what it is and be strong enough to not allow what's going on in this moment to penetrate you to the point that you think that it's about you. This is not about you. This is about how he feels as an individual. This is how she feels in this moment. So now my focus can be on the feelings, right? So now I can do my part to just love on you and to help you through it. If this is something that I know we just hit a rough patch in and all that kind of stuff, but at the same time, you do got to be able to.
That goes back to communicating effectively.
To communicate effectively. Yeah,
it goes back to communicating, because now you're able to say, listen, I understand what you're going through. You may feel like I'm doing better than you, but I'm not. And you can say, listen, things are hard on me too, but you're having a conversation, because what happens is when there's an absent communication, when it's not present, and you're just assuming this is what the issue is, or he's assuming that you are better off, you guys got to have that communication, and y'all got to talk about everything. And you got to let him know, you hurt me.
Yeah.
When you say stuff like that, you hurt me. Yeah. And now I can't be the best version of myself because I'm operating the hurt, and I don't want to be bitter. So I need to have this conversation with you, because I know this ain't you. This just because we're going through this. But how can I help you? How can I make life easier for you?
Yeah. Because the reality of the situation, the reaction is the petals. You got to get to the place where you get down to the root, where you figure out what the real issue is. And the real issue in those situations oftentimes is insecurity. The real issue is
that's good.
I don't feel good about myself. That's why bullies are present, because people talk about other people when they don't feel good about themselves, when they're not secure in who they are and what they have going on. So it's easy to lash out at somebody because it's a defense mechanism. So if you gotta realize that and identify that, and then being able to sort of address it accordingly. We hope that we helped you on that one. What's the next one?
Let me see. I was broken. Learned to love my singleness. Now I actually know how to love someone else. That was me.
Yeah.
I had to before I got in a relationship, I had to get to the point where I was out of a relationship. I was so used to having somebody or talking to somebody. So even if I went in a relationship with them, I would have somebody I talk to, because I didn't like to be alone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so just communicating with anybody. But I had to rid of those soul ties. I had to get to the place where I was comfortable with just being me, because it was to the point where I was making everybody else king in my world, but I removed him off his pedestal. Ooh. I removed him off his throne. And so everybody else was the king. Yeah. Everybody else was this. And everybody else was a priority. Ooh. And until I removed everybody else and put God back in his place, where he reigned over my life and he was the ruler, everything else, every relationship prior to him was a fail.
That's good.
It was a fail because, again, I took God off and put them in his place. And so therefore, I had to get to the point where I rid those soul ties. I had to be comfortable with just being by myself, going places by myself. And I know that sounds crazy, right? Going to the movies by yourself, going out to eat by yourself. I was spending time with myself because I had to learn to be okay by myself before somebody else. Because the reality is this: you don't really need people, right? Yeah. And we get so caught up in needing to have somebody a part of our life that we miss spending time with God and even realizing what you like. Because I was so, in my last relationship, I was so busy being everything that he needed me to be, right? That I lost sight of what Raquel liked.
That's good.
I didn't know who Raquel was.
Yeah.
I didn't even remember the stuff that I enjoyed doing because I was so caught up in being what everybody else needed me to be.
Yeah. And a lot of times we trade presence for process. Like,
that's good.
We trade the because we want somebody present, right? We want to have somebody close. We want that companionship. So we want the presence of somebody else, but a lot of times our process takes us through a moment of isolation so that we can really truly be developed. We're trading the presence for process. And what happens is we keep prolonging our process because we're so busy trying to focus on somebody's presence. And sometimes you got to be willing to disconnect, to shut down and shut in so that God can deal with you, so he can prepare you so that you stop going into these relationships broken and leaving pieces of yourself and deposits in all these different relationships. And you wonder why we can't get back to wholeness, because he got a piece, he got a piece,
That's good.
he got a piece, he got a piece, because I'm not taking the time to really go through the process of
That's
being
good.
healed totally. So,
Not only that, but even you're going into different places where you're still broken, you'll cut somebody. You will mess somebody up for life.
that's good. Jagged
You would,
edges.
yeah, you would. That's a class.
That's good.
Jagged edges, but you are so broken and your pieces are shattered all over the place, right? But you'll go into a relationship and that person is not supposed to be your forever, but you try to make that person your forever, right?
Yeah.
And so now you done messed up a good man, right? Because he's just supposed to be your friend. He was just supposed to be somebody in your life. But because you didn't know how to treat him because of because you were broken, right?
Yeah.
And so now he's a good guy. He has great potential, but you're a broken and damaged woman.
Come on.
Right? So now you go with this guy, and now this guy that was good, now he's broken because you're not assigned to his life.
Yeah.
You were just trying to, you're trying to figure out what's next. You have to take time and be by yourself and know who you are, know who God calls you to be, but most importantly, make sure this relationship is on point.
That's good.
Before any other relationship.
That's good. So listen,
Hold on.
we're gonna take one more question.
Are we?
Yeah, it's 11 o'clock.
But they're asking, they're wanting the questions, babe.
You gotta come back.
Wait, okay.
You gotta come back.
wait, babe. They're asking the questions.
Let's see.
So what if you feel like you're doing what you can, but seeing no improvements when the pursuit not being effective, the pursuit of courting after the person? You got that, babe.
So first, this is a motto that I live by, right? If at first you don't succeed, figure out if you were supposed to try in the first place, right? It's because, people say if at first you don't succeed, try again, okay? Sometimes you may be beating your head up against a wall that has no intentionality of moving or being broken down or anything. So I got to first figure out, is this where I'm supposed to put my effort? Because I can't be casting my pearls among the swine. So if this is where I'm supposed to put my effort and I'm seeing no improvement, then I have to make adjustments to my effort, because a lot of times we try to love people how we want to be loved.
That's good.
Right? A lot of times I try to give you the effort that I want you to give me, instead of finding out the effort that you desire. Instead of finding out the effort, the things that work for you, I try to give you the things that I want, or I try to give you the things that I think work, instead of effectively communicating to say, hey, what do you like? What don't you like? What's your turn-ons? What's your turn-offs? What do you like when a man does? How can I, what can I do to put a smile on your face? It's having those kind of conversations instead of trying to wing it. A lot of times we go in relationships and we trying to wing it, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure out what works for you, because I want to, I'm gonna be the man and I'm gonna do that. No. Let's sit down and talk. You tell me what works.
Right.
You tell me what doesn't work. You tell me what you don't like. Let's talk about it. Because if you give me that, then I have something that I can consistently work towards. Because a lot of times we working consistently in an area and we doing it all wrong. You trying to, you don't even know what her love language is, what his love language is, but we give to people what we want.
Yeah.
So if I want words of affirmation, if I want compliments, then I'm just going to continue to pay you compliments. You may not want compliments. You may want quality time. Okay. But if I'm giving you compliments and I'm consistently, then I'm frustrating myself, because I'm trying to give you what I want instead of trying to give you what you need.
And can't say that that's what you want. You
Exactly.
just automatically assume that I'm going to do mimic what you're doing, because I'm supposed to follow your lead, but you're not saying, hey, I need you to speak to me. I need you to encourage me. You don't say that, but you assume that I'm just going to do it based on what you're doing for me.